Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our first video of 2023. Here we are. Happy New Year to everybody who watches this video, and welcome. So, first things first, I am walking around our house. I'm in the backyard right now, sitting in my chair, and I am assessing the damage that was sort of ensued from a few weeks of rain. So for the last, I want to say 2 weeks, right around the start of Christmas all the way through yesterday, we had pretty massive amounts of rain. It was off and on, nothing crazy, but now that things are starting to dry up, I'm starting to notice where some of the rivers were going down the back of our house into our yard towards that reservoir right there. So for those who didn't see some of the earlier videos of our backyard, I'm going to share with you that first things first, we don't have gutters on this side of the roof, which will probably change this year because when the water comes off of that roof, it hits this ground really hard and then it just erodes down this hill all the way down. So it's taken a lot of the grass and whatnot and left a bunch of muddy trails behind. So we're going to somehow figure out how to resolve that, and we'll piece it back together slowly but surely. But today has been the first day that I've been able to come out here and grab my camera because it was just super gloomy, dark, and rainy, and it wasn't really working well. Plus, we had a lot of family events to get to, and we did a lot of stuff through the holidays, so it was kind of nice. But anyway, here we are, first day of the year, and we're back at it. So I shared with you problem number one with the slope and the water and everything. Here's problem number two, and this became apparent right before Christmas, actually. So we have this driveway that's made out of some kind of, I guess it's granite rocks that are just, poured out, and they level it out. But over time, as you're driving on this stuff, it's not really glued down in any way, so it moves. One of two things happened here. One, we somehow managed to skew these little wooden light posts. You can see the one on the end in correlation with the garage door is really skewed, and we believe it has to do with the fact that there's runoff that comes down the slope. Also, we drive the car, we park it here, etc., etc. But here's what was interesting. The most interesting part about this was we tried to get out when it was raining. We actually ended up getting stuck in several places. So we had a hard time getting out for this driveway, and you can see we dug holes and, buried the tires pretty good. So we're going to have to figure out how to address this. But we're probably going to have to pour some form of, concrete or cement or whatever the most durable thing is for this kind of ground. So that's problem number two, right? Problem number three is all of this. So I don't know where I left it off, but I'm going to put you into the tripod here. I got you guys on some new gear. Let me show you the new gear. So I'm wearing a DJI mic set that I purchased. None of these things are sponsored. These are just my attempts to make the videos a little bit better. I got a very nice, sturdy aluminum tripod. The other one, the legs fell off and it wasn't tripoding anymore. It was like a bipod, some weirdness. I also got these quick connect adapters where you literally take your camera and you snap it in, and then you adjust it, and it's in. You don't have to worry about it. Let me tighten you down so you don't fall. And let me adjust everything. But you can see how quickly I was able to put that in. Let me level you out, and that should do it. So along with that, I'm actually using a separate audio recording device, and you can see it right here. This came with the mic. It's a wireless microphone set. But what I like about it is it allows me to use a standalone app to record the audio, so that way if I have any issues with it, I can edit it separately in post. So I'm going to set my phone down here, and I'm going to back up a little bit. So you guys have been in here through the holidays a few times. The first thing that I did was I installed that storage rack that's over there behind the garage door opener. In fact, because this is aluminum, I can pick it up. The other one was made out of something that was super heavy, and it was essentially a boat anchor that you had to lug around with you. But that I installed a few weeks before Thanksgiving, and I liked it so much. Actually, it was right after the Thanksgiving holiday that I actually started putting the boxes with the Thanksgiving and fall decorations and whatnot up there so they could be off the floor. And I thought, why not? Let's get one more. So then, let me turn you around. Then I got this one. Let me bump you back a little bit. There you go. I hope this doesn't fall apart and make me look like a fool. So far, it's working pretty good. So this was the second one that I bought. This is a 4x8 shelf. It's supposed to be able to hold 600 pounds. I haven't tested it. In fact, the only thing it's holding is a couple of paint rollers there on the end that I just kind of stuck there in the corner. But the goal of this video, hopefully, will be to start piling stuff up there. We already took down our Christmas decorations, which kind of bummed me, but it had to be done. But I got a new box for the Christmas tree, the big red box. I never even got a chance to put up the lights for the house. Things just were crazy, and there was just no way that that was going to happen this year. So I didn't even bother, to be honest. We put up a couple of holiday signs throughout the yard, but it wasn't like, it wasn't lit up. It wasn't anything special or glorious. So kind of feel bummy about that, but hopefully 2023 will be a little bit different. Okay, so just to give you further updates. So before the holidays, I actually moved this Smith machine out of this corner right here where my toolboxes and stuff are, and I moved it out here. This way I could clean a little bit and organize a little bit and literally go through and just kind of organize some things. What I originally wanted to do was to clear off enough space right here to be able to park the Bolt EUV. And then my wife's RAV4 would have its spot over there. As you can see, it's a little crowded in here, so we have to do something about that. So I'm going to try to go through over the next few days, maybe consolidate a couple boxes, move some stuff around, maybe throw some things away that should have been thrown away months, if not years ago. Also, there's our bicycles are right here, so we're going to hang those up. And one way I hope to achieve that is actually by doing the following. So right here, you may have noticed in some of the older videos, right in this spot, I had a bunch of toolboxes. Well, you probably saw just now that those toolboxes ended up over here in this corner with some extension cables and whatnot. I originally, let me sit you down. I originally got this DeWalt Tough System 2.0 the 3-piece box set that you can stick your tools into and wheel them around. It's essentially like, it's got that big 8-inch wheel on the back there. But as I'm kind of getting arranged in here, it's becoming more and more challenging to use this because, like, for example, right now, I wouldn't be able to get to any of my drills or saws or anything that are inside this bigger tote. Also, I have to, undo these boxes to get into stuff that's on the bottom. If I have the third box on, which is actually laying behind you, then I have to take that off, take this off, and then open this, only to then have to reverse it to put it all back together. Kind of a nightmare. So I think it's going to be time to look at getting an actual cabinet for this corner that's going to be, kind of a more permanent installation for the tools. Now, the reason why I got these boxes was actually it was a business decision when I was making and designing and building out server rooms and whatnot, where I needed tools to do earthquake bracing, anchoring, and all that stuff. So these were the ultimate, business decision for that, because I could just throw these into my Bolt EUV. Yes, they're heavy as I don't know what, but one at a time I could put them in, have 3 piles of toolboxes in the car, and off we went to do the job. Came back, I would undo it, stack it back up, and put it in a corner somewhere. But it just made it impossible for me to use these tools. And over time, I would have to purchase tools and doubled up on tools because I didn't feel like undoing everything to get it. I would go to Harbor Freight and buy a wrench or buy a socket or something. And now I have a whole bunch of, wrenches that are exactly the same in various denominations, not to mention crescent wrenches to sink the Titanic. Anyway, that said, the tools were moved over here so that way I could back the Bolt EV into the spot. And let me move you over here. Boy, this tripod's really nice. I think I'll put the links to these things. They're not sponsored in any way, but let me tell you something. If it works, I'll share it with you. Okay, so the toolboxes were here. If I did the measurements right, I believe that the Bolt EV, the EUV, its rear bumper is going to be somewhere right next to this post here. That means that this whole area needs to be clear. So with that said, that corner where the bikes are, the air conditioner, and a whole bunch of little boxes and pieces for the shop vac and whatnot, that area is going to get cleared out, and essentially I'm going to move everything out here. What that's going to allow me to do is to move this monstrosity, and you're going to get to see how I do it. It's not pretty, but this thing weighs as much as I do, so it's essentially me lifting me on my shoulders, and I'll show you how I do that, because moving it from here out these 8 feet was a nightmare and a half, and I swore I would never do it, but then the true idiot in me came out and I put it right in the middle of the garage, so now I have to move it again. So this machine is going to end up on a diagonal, kind of facing that corner of the garage. Oh, you can't even see me because you're looking at the refrigerator. Nice. Or the Smith machine. So this machine will end up being in this corner facing diagonally out. And the reason for that is, and I'll show you real quick, this machine is actually open in here. So you can see it's kind of a U shape. As long as these bars are out of the way right here, like this bar here, and we have a 45-pound Olympic bar that's right there. As long as it's not on the hooks that go here, you can actually kind of get a corner bumper into there. I've done it before, and I'll do it again if I have to, but needless to say, all of this stuff right here is coming out. I'm gonna put this floor down here, so I got some of this stuff here. I'll show you in a second. I know you can't see it, but I'll bring it to you. This came out of the old house. So I'm gonna put some of this rubber floor down right here. And we're gonna put the machine on top of it, hoping to make it usable. So that way my goal of losing 100 pounds in 2023 will come true. And yes, you did hear me right. My intention as of today is to lose 100 pounds in hopefully the next 9 months. I know that's a really stiff goal, but for those who know me, know that I've done it before, and I will have to do it again. So, except this time I won't let the negativity get me down. So, anyway, this is going to happen today. The machine's going to get moved. But also, on top of that, I'm going to show you these. I got a collection. This was just a random hook collection on Amazon that you can use to mount stuff to your walls. And you can see that our walls are plywood, And so I got a bunch of these little hooks that I'm going to put up. Like these would probably be used for holding pipes or pieces of wood, but I'm probably going to use them to hold extension cords or, you know, power cables or whatnot. So I got a bunch of those. And this was an assorted box. It also came with, I guess these are ceiling hooks. You can hang stuff from the ceiling. I was going to use these to hang our bikes up, but for those who don't know, that ceiling's 14 feet away. And I would have to violate a few OSHA regulations to get our bikes actually hooked onto this. I thought about getting a hoist, but that's just overkill. So what I am going to do is I'm going to figure out a way to adapt some of these if I can. If not, they're all just basic hooks. I mean, you can kind of see this one through the packaging. If I can't use any of these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the ones that actually I can, let me lean you back here. Whee. I'm going to look at getting the ones that I can hang off of this, or maybe this part, and suspend the bikes that way. And just have them hanging here in the corner and ultimately out of the way. So hopefully that'll be a good decision and it'll work out. Maybe put them against the wall here a little bit, so that way you still have this all clear, you know, so you can get into the bolt or you can get around it. One of the things that I may need to do is I may need to cut this back, you know, shave it off here and cut it back to maybe the second step, because depending on exactly how far the bolt EUV comes back, that bumper might be right against that, so you may not be able to actually get around my car. And in order to leave enough space for that car, you know, between us, I'll have to park as close to the threshold of the garage that I can. So it's all guesses right now because GM won't send me my car. It is what it is. Speaking of the Bolt EUV, let me share a little bit of updates with you. So I guess about a week before Thanksgiving, actually it may have been a week after Thanksgiving, I had a conversation with the dealer and I had asked, you know, for an update, and I was telling him how kind of beside myself I was for not having the car, and you know how difficult things have been, you know, just being able to live a life. And my wife has her appointments. I really should have my appointments, but I can't because I don't have a car to get to them with. And then I also explained that the rentals, every time I do need to go somewhere, rentals are expensive, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, they said that, you know, they can track the car. They know where the car is. You know, they know that the vehicles are coming off the rail yard and they're being delivered to the dealership. But depending on how behind that rail yard was, it may mean weeks or months until my car actually gets to the top of the pile. So essentially it's first come, first serve. So if cars were delivered to this rail yard, you know, 2, 3, 4 months before mine, those cars are going to be the first delivered. So dealerships are getting their stock, they are getting their vehicles, and it is a regional rail yard, so it's safe to expect that they have thousands of vehicles that are just waiting for delivery. And mine is just somewhere in the middle of the deck. So I hope that in time, please, that vehicle will get here. Because, you know, I have a lot of planned content for you guys. There's a lot of interesting road trips that I want to take. There's, you know, everything out here for me with an EV is going to be a first, because I've never charged out here. I've never driven on the freeways here, on the highways and byways and whatnot. I've never been to a level 3 charging facility in the state or surrounding states. And I think it'll be kind of nice to see all that, as well as do road trips. I have some road trips that are planned. One that I must take in the next month or two, which means that if I don't have the EV, I will have to rent a car, which again is a cost that, GM obviously won't reimburse me for. So it is what it is, but the hopes are the car arrives sooner than later for sure. And we just, go down that path once I get the call that it's ready to be picked up. Also, the dealership is going to have it probably for a day longer because they're installing the light up charge port for me. So that way I can have the green orb around the charge port for the car. So that'll be good. So anyway, without further ado, let's get to this. I still haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do this. This is one of those things where you walk in here and your brain explodes because you see so much stuff, and without thinking, you think that there's a lot of stuff, and then you have no idea what to do with all of it. Like I have an air conditioning unit that I bought for the old 6 Foot Networks office in Los Angeles that's sitting back there that I don't think I have a need for. I kept it because I thought, well, maybe in the summertime when we're using this as a gym, it'll be, cool enough in here to use it. But then I thought to myself, it won't be 100 degrees at, 5, 6 a.m. when I'm really am going to use it, or late at night after the sun sets. So didn't really use an air conditioner in California, and I think it was hotter there, minus the humidity. So it wasn't so bad this year. If we would have had a gym in here, June, July, August, maybe even September, October, we wouldn't have needed that. It wasn't so bad. It was humid. It's humid now, but you get used to the humidity and you get used to the temperature and your body adapts. And we've actually noticed a great health improvement with the humidity and the weather being the way it is. Also, the fact that it rains every 10 seconds is phenomenal because the air is always clean. You take a deep breath, you're not you're not blowing up emphysema. So like in California you would. So anyway, got to figure out what to do with all this stuff. So I am just going to put you guys on this tripod, probably right here by the door. And I'm just going to set a time lapse up, and I'm going to just stop yapping for the time being. But again, I want to wish all of you guys a very happy new year. Welcome to the channel if you've never seen us. This is the behind the scenes channel of my company, OPSEC Prime. It is a cybersecurity consulting company, but this channel specifically will be the life of the channel, meaning everything behind it. So our home, my family, road trips, the Bolt EV, which will be probably a big business vehicle for me, as well as everything that kind of comes along with it. So the future is, not written, so I don't know what will be recorded and what will be shared, but nevertheless, I look forward to doing so with you. So without further ado, again, I think I've said that like 4 or 5 times now, so forgive me. I'm going to move you here and put you right here. Hopefully that'll give you a nice enough view. And I'm going to bend this down some so you can see me. And you're going to actually get to see me move this, which weighs 1 pound more than I do. This thing weighs 350. I weigh 349. So, God, it's so hard sharing that detail, but I have to lose it. I have to lose 100 pounds. So it is what it is. So let me get to it, and you guys stick around for the time lapse. Go down in the comments, leave me your thoughts. If you guys want to see something or ask away, I answered a whole bunch of comments yesterday, which was really nice through the holidays. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your holiday schedule to think of us and say your blessings for the holidays. Really appreciate that. And I guess now I'm going to leave you to the time lapse. So until next time, thank you for watching. All right, everybody. The Smith machine is in its new home. So originally, let me back up a little bit here. Originally, I was under the impression that it would kind of go diagonally, where it would face out into the center. Unfortunately, that did not work because I had overestimated, or I guess underestimated? Yeah, underestimated how big this thing actually is. Diagonally, you wouldn't be able to get the weights on the weight posts that are on the back leg. And also, like here, right around here, these would be getting too close to the wall, as well as the other ones on the other side would be interfering with the railing over there. And also, you still need to have enough space here that you can get weights on. In fact, I got a weight right here so we can test it. Of course, it's a 33-pound weight, so it's heavy as I don't know what, but I'm gonna put it here. So you can get it on here, and then I guess the fun part would be to take this off. I'm trying to consider my wife too, because A, she's not 6.5 feet tall, and getting weights off of here might be difficult for her. And I don't know if she uses this bar or if she just uses the Olympic bar. But I use this bar because it's easier to control. You know, when you're overweight and you have balance issues, you need something that's not going to either tear you in one direction or the other. So I use this one all the time. And got my neck pad there, but I think I can take this off and put it there to stack the weight. I don't know. I guess, well, babe, if you're watching this, I guess this will be to be determined, because if this works for you, then great. If not, then we'll move it. I guess I can move it over to the, to the left with the way it's standing. But I think that if this is all the way up, and babe, you're like up to here on me, right? So you can actually get through here if you had to, or underneath here to get to the weights here. And also the stack that goes behind there, you know, let's see if I can make it. It'll take some effort, but isn't the whole point of this to lose weight? So if my booty can get between here and here, then anybody else who's sub 350 should be able to do it. So, and I can put weight on the actual machine to use it too. So I think this thing has found its new home. If anything, I may be able to move it this way some as I lose weight. Or we just get rid of this railing and then it's all great and gravy. But I guess for safety reasons, we got to keep it. So anyway, with that said, I finished a major project. This thing, I will explain this a little bit as soon as I get out of here. Oh wait, let me get the weight off of this. Okay. Whoop. How's that for flexible and good core support for sucking in all the mass? I did want to mention that you guys probably saw me on the time lapse that I was struggling a little bit. So yesterday, I decided to do the unthinkable, and it wasn't so much the unthinkable, but it was something that my son had asked me to do several times throughout the course of the week, and then yesterday. And I'm going to insert a clip here that you can look at. And for those who've never done it, jumping on a trampoline is probably one of the most hardest workouts I've ever done, because it doesn't just affect your legs or your core or your arms or anything. It affects everything. And it affects it for a couple of reasons. One, when you're kind of free floating and you come back down, you know, your arms will move, your legs will move. But as you impact it, you're kind of programmed in your mind to stiffen all your muscles, your back, your abs, your arms, your legs. And of course, in order to jump, you have to maintain your muscles in your legs, in your quads, in your calves, and even your hamstrings. Let me tell you something. 45 seconds on a trampoline, in my mind, was equal to a 1 or 2 mile run, at least in my mind. And not only was I out of breath, I was hurting, I was sore, and I am sore today. Not as bad as I was yesterday. In fact, my son was also, you know, last night saying how his knees hurt, his joints hurt, and everything like that. You know, he's going through growth phases, and when he does stuff like that, it just, you know, compounds the problem. So we all, my wife was the only sane one in the family who did not do any jumping yesterday, but suffice it to say, it was rough. My back, it hurts. You saw me sitting down also on the stairs. I ordered the S-clips for the bikes on Amazon, just a 6-pack of generic steel S-hooks that I can hang from that. I have a nasty habit of just pointing at stuff out of frame, so forgive me. Hang the S-hooks onto that storage shelf, and then hang the bikes upside down underneath it, so that way they're off the floor. But going back to this monstrosity, I am glad that I have been able to finish this. This has been a thorn in our side for a while now, probably for a good month and a half since I moved it from the wall out here into the middle of the garage, which made it so like hard to empty the car when we do groceries, or just, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I can't even explain it. I don't want to explain it. But suffice it to say, I'm thrilled that it's in its new home. I'm thrilled that we can use it. I'm actually going to do the next thing here on this side. And you guys already know that it's a mess as can be. I'm going to pull out the bench that goes with it, so that way I can just park the bench in there and then have the capabilities to maybe put another piece of equipment right here where these boxes are. But we'll see. At some point, there's going to be the consideration that we might grade out the back here, pour a small foundation, and maybe put our small gym adjacent to the house back here, where we'll use this air conditioner, where we'll run some power out there, some lighting, and then have, you know, the potential to just go outside here, open a set of doors, and just have our, you know, this and these benches and weight stacks and whatever else. That's all kind of up in the air, something that I've been thinking about. But I think as far as this video goes, I think I'm going to call it quits for today. What I will do is I will make a path to the refrigerator, because you never want to stand between, oh boy, this box just isn't happy with my weight. But you don't want to stand in the way of a man and his fridge, but at the same time, you never want to stand between an athlete and her fridge. So we're gonna do that. And for those who don't know, let me tell you something real quick. I did just say it, but I'm going to say it again. My wife is an athlete. She was a marathoner for years. I want to say 5-6 years, plus minus. And then she got COVID. She didn't get COVID once, she got it several times. But she now recently started mending from long COVID. She was suffering for, oh God, I want to say 14 months. And she just got kind of over that hurdle. She did everything she possibly could. She rested, she healed, she saw doctors in 2 states. You know, she changed her diet to the point where she was eating, you know, blends and salads and, you know, sugar-free, oil-free, you know, everything that you could think of to heal. And it wasn't until recently that through the help of I guess her community, she's part of some long COVID long haulers, I guess what they call it. And you know, I'll pin a comment if my wife is watching this, I'll have her put her story there if she wants to, and I'll pin that comment so you guys can read it. But she went through hell and high water, and only recently, like within the last few months, she started rebounding again. She's eating, she's including more food in her diet. She's, for the first time in I don't know how long, she ran a 5K yesterday successfully. For those who don't know, 5K is 3.1 miles. It's a massive accomplishment, and I'm so proud of her. I'm so happy. So I need to keep a path clear for my athlete so that she can get to her waters, which are over there next to the fridge, as well as mine. My waters are over there too. So anyway, guys, I think that's going to conclude this New Year's bash, if you will. My back is on fire. I'm having a hard time standing straight, and I am going to put some ice on it and rest. But there are more days ahead, and I hope that with my weight loss, I'll be able to get stronger and be able to do more things. And when the Bolt EUV arrives, we're going to rock it. I'm going to take you along for most, if not all, of our joy rides, and we're going to have a good time. So, along with that, Happy New Year to you guys, and thanks for joining me on this. I know I've experimented with a lot of equipment, you know, my microphone, the tripod, the camera with the massive external battery. I didn't use my phone for the first time in I don't know how long to record a video. Therefore, my phone is over here acting as my audio mixer with the DJI interface. It's keeping my cooler cool, right? So I hope this turns out okay. I'll mix it all together, put some music in there, and we'll see how these videos turn out, if these microphones work out. These are really cool. Not sponsored, of course. I don't actually know how to get sponsorships, so some of you guys know, maybe you can clue me in, but I found these online. These are made by DJI, and I guess they're just the DJI mic. Neat little charging case, kind of like the AirPods. Comes with 2 microphones, so you can, I think I just messed something up. I hope not, but maybe, hopefully, won't break it. But microphone, you got the little bass that I have currently in my phone plugged in, and it all kind of clips together, and I think the second mic just disconnected, so if my voice sounds a little funny, I saw the level indicator kind of go away. So, but it all fits in here. This charges via USB Type-C, and it works out. It comes with this little fuzzy dead cat, which I kind of like, because earlier on in the video, I think I was huffing and puffing when I did my test run, and my breath was going right over the mic. Also, you can plug in an external mic, so if you want to look more professional, which I don't know why that would be a thing, but you can actually plug a microphone into this and then clip this unit to your belt. But I went for simplicity this time. The app is bouncing around, so I think we are getting some audio. I'll put this all together on the computer, and then we'll see how YouTube does with it. All right. Thank you again for joining me. Happy New Year, and I guess until next time, thank you always for watching. Take care. Be safe.